Okay, so a good matte paint has four major characteristics. A good matte paint should be flat on the ceiling. While it's still flat, it should have the ability to correct imperfections. All those mistakes they make while creating POP and so on. It should be able to correct imperfections, and then it should be able to conceal the growth of fungi and algae and so on. And then it should have high coverage opacity. That means if it is in white color, it should be very bright. And then if it can cover wide space, fine, that's an advantage. So without wasting time, today we were doing formulation guide for 20 liters premium quality white ceiling matte paint. See, I am here for this industry giant. I am not gatekeeping. I am not holding back the secret. I'm here to reveal everything. I know so many producers don't know that there's a difference between there's a special paint that is normally created for painting of ceiling. No, there's a special paint. Yes, so like I said before, a good matte paint should be flat. It should have the ability to cover ceiling imperfection and so on, and then it should be able to conceal growth of algae and fungi, and then it should have high coverage opacity and then cover white space. That white space coverage is an advantage, though, but it's not necessary that it should cover white space. So, without wasting time, this is how we are going to be following, or this is what you are going to be following in this production process: water, calgon, genapol, defoamer, titanium dioxide, omia cap 2. So many persons are not familiar, so many producers are not familiar with this. Omia cap 2, and then we have kaolin, and then we also have PVA, and then we also have texanol, we have natrosol, we have biocide, we have ammonia. Then for kaolin, if you have this talc powder, you can still use talc powder in place of kaolin, but kaolin is perfect, it's very okay. And then for PVA, you can still prefer using acrylic, but I like to use PVA. I like to use because PVA has this whiteness it gives. That's why I like it. Okay, so without wasting time, this is 2025. The year is still very fresh. Happy New Year once again. Let's go.
Okay, so let's begin the process. Let's begin by adding 10 liters of water. So water is like the medium in which every other chemical is mixed through. So 10 liters is what we are using for this formulation, and we have to ensure that we measure it accurately. So many producers don't know that there's a special paint for sealing, special matte paint for sealing. So I know all those big companies they have them like Dulux, and I know Caplux has sealing matte. I know some of those big companies they have special matte paint for sealing, matte emulsion for sealing. So not everybody knows. So sealing matte should be flat on the surface, and since it's matte, it doesn't have to be glossy. While it's flat on the surface, it should also have the ability to conceal imperfections, during creation of POP, and then it should not have all those roller marks when it's painted. It should be flat, just like I said, and then it should be able to conceal the growth of algae and fungi in case maybe rain falls or let's say a leakage somewhere. It should be able to conceal that, and then it should be very white. It should have high coverage opacity. Most ceiling paints are white. It should be, has very high coverage opacity. So we've added the water. So the next chemical now to add should be calgon. Calgon is a type of a sodium hexametaphosphate salt, or sodium phosphate salt for short. So what it does is that it makes the water to be soft, very soft. You know what detergent does when you add into water? It makes the water to be soft, so the water can, let me say, can will be able to clean dirt or wash dirt. Water will soft enough to wash dirt from your clothes. This is what this does in terms of paint production. It makes the water soft enough to disperse every other solid chemicals coming in. So when you add that, you make sure you mix it properly. So the next chemical we add here is genapol. Genapol is a surfactant. It helps to reduce surface tension, makes the paint fluid enough for easy application. So we are from the formulation we're using 250 grams. So we have to measure it accurately. Genapol is a wetting agent. It helps to make sure that the as you call the solid chemicals, or let me say the surface is wet, so that your paint can flow and spread well on the surface. When you put genapol in the formulation, it induces foam naturally. So once the foam is induced, what you now do is to introduce defoamer to cut down the foam. Sometimes when you paint on your surface, you have these bubbles on the painted surface. Some most times it is caused by entrapment of foam during the production process. So that's what defoamer does. Defoamer cuts down the foam that was entrapped in the process of production. So Genapol induces foam. Defoamer cuts down the foam. So this is the foam being turned into the formulation. As you can see, the foam is drastically reducing. That's how it reduces until the entrapped foam goes all up completely. So at this point, I think the next chemical to add is titanium dioxide. Titanium dioxide is what makes your paint have high coverage opacity. Most painters will say this paint doesn't have coverage, and what they actually mean is that the paint doesn't have high coverage opacity. High coverage opacity just means that the paint has high hiding power. That means when you have maybe a dark spot, or let me say a dark spot, yes, how well can this paint cover or hide those spots on the surface or substrate? So that's what titanium dioxide does. It brings coverage opacity to the formulation. So this formulation we're using 250 grams. So as you add, you allow it mix homogeneously, like mix up with other chemicals until you have a perfect and homogeneously mixed formulation before you continue with the next process. So at this point, we are now introducing Omiacap 2. Omiacap 2 is a type of a calcium carbonate that is well refined. Well refined. Omiacap 2 means that it is 2 micrometer. That's the particle size is 2 micron. So in the course of creating content, I want us to stay glued because there is a lot of revelations we'll be doing when it comes to revealing different types of chemicals. I know so many producers know this for the first time, but so many producers too know this. Or let me say, so many producers are knowing this for the first time, rather. But so many producers already know Miacap too. We have different types of precipitated calcium carbonate like Omiacap 2. We have Thocap, we have Omiacap, we have Calcap. There are different types of them. But like Omiacap is like the number one. It's made in Turkey. I love to use it in special kinds of paints. So we need 10 kg. This is Omiacap 2 being turned into the formulation for proper mixture. So you have to make sure that you point it well and let it enter into the formulation. The makeup 2 is being turned in. So we don't have to let anything fall off so that our formulation, or let me say our mixture, or let me say our measurement will be accurate. After turning it into the formulation, you have to mix it and make sure that it's homogeneously mixes up with other chemicals. At every stage, at every point in time in the formulation or in the mixture, you make sure that whatever chemical you're introducing mixes up with other chemicals and blends properly. And that's what will give you a good end product at the end of the day. So we're mixing after the introduction of Meerkat 2. I think something else will come in, another secondary, or should I say extender pigment will come into the mixture. Okay, and that will be kaolin. kaolin. For those people who have a talc powder too can still work perfectly well, but I still love kaolin. You want a filler that is a bit like it has a better refinement than the normal calcium carbonate. That's why I'm using kaolin. So kaolin too, will help to give the whiteness to the entire formulation. So 2 kg is what we are using. 2 kg is what we are using. So we have to ensure that it mixes up properly. So we've turned it into the formulation. So we have to mix and mix very well. Mix it very well. Mix it very well. The reason why we don't make so much videos is because each content we produce is expensive and it's detailed. So the next chemical we are putting down is PVA 2 kg. You can see decided to use acrylic, but I love to use PVA for ceiling mat 2 kg. I prefer to use PVA. PVA gives me what I want. You can still use calcium. Calcium was sorry, acrylic. Was it calcium I measured the first time? Sorry, acrylic. You can still use acrylic. Rather, I'm sorry for the mistake, but I will not edit it. I want to be as real as possible in the production process. If I'm making mistake, I'll correct it, and we just have to be real with ourselves as we are doing the production, as we are following through the production process. Okay, so you see the formulation. Everything is going perfectly well, perfectly well, perfectly well. Once you mix and everything mixes up properly well, you now bring in or introduce the next chemical. But before you introduce the next chemical, you have to ensure that everything is properly grounded. So the next chemical we're introducing will be texanol. For this formulation, texanol will play two major important role. Number one, to act as an antitor chemical. So it will ensure that during the freeze store cycle, all those chemical reaction or chemical changes that normally occurs to just keep the outcome of the, let me say, the product itself very stable, and then it will not lead to pH changes, and it will not make the paint, let me say, viscous to still keep the shelf life during those freeze store temperature. No, we are not from certain kind of regions, so we might not understand. There are regions that have temperature that will make you pay attention to freeze store. And then number two, texanol will act as coalescent agent, that to make the film formation process to come out perfectly well. So that's texanol. 200 grams is what we are using for this formulation. So we have to make sure that everything mixes properly well. So we have to make sure everything mixes properly well. Yeah, texanol has several other functions. So, but for this formulation, I'm using it for two major purposes. Number one, as free store property, and then number two, as a coalescing agent. Because I have so many persons that might not come from this part of the world that will be watching this video. So, at this point, it's time to add up our thickener. So this, we are using natrosol. We are using 120 grams. 120 grams might be too much for some persons. So let me say from 100 to 120 grams, perfect. 120 grams might be too viscous for some persons, but I like it at 120 grams. When I'm painting ceiling, I like the paint to be very thick, because at the end of the day, the paint will be flat on the surface. So this is natrosol. We have to premix natrosol with water that is not too much or too small. Water that can just mix it separately before adding it into the formulation. So as you mix up the water, make sure you mix it properly, separately, before you now introduce it to the entire mixture. So this is nitrosol. Yeah, I'm just making sure that everything mixes up well. That's why I'm checking with my hands. So I've added it to the formulation, and I will rinse the container a little, and I will add up small water or a little quantity of water. Mix it again to ensure that every content goes into the formulation. So after adding nitrosol, you have to make sure that you mix it very well so it doesn't cake up. If not, it will. You know, nitrosol is a thickener. It's a rheologifier. It's what controls the viscosity or fluidity of the entire formulation. So it's a thickener. It's what will make the paint thick at the end of the day. So the quantity you decide to use will either make the paint more viscous or more fluid. So we're using 120 grams, so the paint will be properly viscous. So at this point in time, we are putting preservative. Preservative we are using, I think, will be around 100 grams. The biocide is being added to the formulation. Biocide is an in-can preservative. That means it's what will preserve the shelf life of the paint inside the can. So at this point in time, we are adding it to the formulation, mixing it properly, making sure that everything mixes up well. You know, this process is a mixture process, so you have to make sure that everything is homogeneously mixed. So at this point in time, we are adding 30 grams of ammonia for two major purposes. Number one, to catalyze the reaction of the thickener, to serve as a catalyst, that's to hasten the thickening process of the thickener, and then to balance the pH. As we create content and go, I think we'll talk about pH, potential of hydrogen, perfectly well. The content I'll be going just in our forthcoming video, or let me say in our videos to come. One of those videos will talk about that. So when you use ammonia, you just have to make sure that you wear a nose mask so that you don't inhale ammonia. Ammonia can be very toxic. It's not too healthy to inhale. So at this point in time, we are mixing everything together. This is the final mixture, so you have to spend time a little and make sure that everything mixes up properly well. So the paint is getting thick. Paint is getting thick. Our outcome is looking successful. And this is sealing matte paint. This is sealing matte paint. Thank you so much for watching. So at this point in time, this is Everglitter paint. Everglitter paint, like I always say, is my personal brand. So if you want paint, you can see how viscous the paint looks, very thick. So if you want paint for your house, always contact us. Contact us through the number on the screen. If you want personal consultation, you want to learn paint production from beginners level to professional level, or you are already into the industry and you want to improve your skill, just the number on the screen, DM us. We are always available for you. So this is 20 liters sealing matte paint. It's a premium quality. It's one of the best of the best of the best quality you can find in the market for sealing. One of the best of the best of the qualities you can find in the market. This is a perfect and excellent product. I bet you go back home, try it. Yes, this is my brand, Everglitter, and the paint is set. Thank God that the outcome came out fine, and I'm happy. So this is the brand. Cameraman, show us the brand now. Everglitter, yeah.
Okay, yes, I know so many of you enjoyed this video. In short, all of you enjoyed this video, especially those who are into paint production already. This video is coming as a big revelation to them. They understand the revelation I'm giving out, the revelation I'm giving, the quality of the revelation I'm giving out. So many of those guys are into the industry already. I know you enjoyed the video. I know you like it. I know you like it, and this is a very premium quality ceiling matte paint. Premium quality ceiling matte paint. Like I will repeat it again. Premium quality ceiling matte paint. So many of those big guys in the industry don't even have this from they don't use this formulation to get their results. And I know after this video, so many of them might improve. So this is what I'm giving out freely. I'm very selfless with knowledge. I'm very selfless. I don't know how I can do that. In short, I don't know how I can help myself and do less. But I'm very selfless with knowledge. I'm not selfish with knowledge. I give it out freely. I know you enjoyed this video, so please subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel and then put your thoughts in the comment section. Ask question, whatever concern you have, put it in the comment section, and then like this video, like the video, share it, turn on your notification bell, and again subscribe. Thank you so much. My name is Sam Ele. I remain your number one paint production professional in Africa. Thank you for listening.